if you're a conservative and you actually like New York, I mean, I think the idea would be basically try to save it, right? You would, if you really cared about New York, you lived there your whole life, you don't necessarily want to have to move. You try to save your state, try to save your city. But boy, hopefully I'll be able to vote in person again this year. I will vote in person and early. Good, Vinny. Good for you, man. Hopefully COVID doesn't come back stronger right before the election. Oh, you know that the media will try to ramp it up. That's for sure.
Taxes, burdensome regulation, high crime, horrible school districts is real. And if anything, I'm probably late and I'm behind the curve, and many others have made the move beforehand, and there's not a single person that I know that made a move like this that is not happy that they made it. And they move, and they do it for a lot of reasons. I had a friend of mine today. You know, how do you like it down in Florida since you moved there? I'm like, well, now I like it a lot. And I said, how's things up there? And he goes, it's 27 degrees. I hate you. Like, I used to send the same messages to my friends. But there's nothing stopping people from making the moves that they want. But they're leaving in droves. For a state like California to lose, you know, for the first time. You know, something weird will happen right before the election. Oh, it's going to be a weird year. It's going to get out of control this year. I think BLM is going to come back. Antifa are going to come back. T-minus 6 months until BLM and Antifa again take to the streets in violent riots. T-minus 6 months until BLM and Antifa again take to the streets in violent riots, and BLM again trends. T-minus 6 months, boys. T-minus 6 months until BLM are in the streets. Degenerate Liberty followed me. Who the heck is this? Who the heck is this? By the way, did you guys see the post by about Hippy Dippy? Degenerate Liberty. Is this person trans? Doesn't look like it's a real person. Anyway, good for Hannity. Good for Hannity. Oh, let's see what the clickbait articles are, man. These clickbait articles from Bing. Oh my word, they are so clickbaity. I can't even stop myself. I just click. Do you think there will be presidential debates with Biden? No, I don't. I love PA. I'll likely live here my whole life. I'll do what I can to make it better for my kids, and we'll fight the good fight so that my state will do good for our nation. From PA too, I agree. L421 in the house. What's up, L? Yeah, I don't think Pennsylvania is too far gone at this point. I mean, Pennsylvania is nowhere even close to being on the same platform as New York and California, right? They have said they will come to the rural areas. More power to them. They won't last long. Right, Hydra, for sure. BLM and Antifa will try. 3 ways buying a home is getting more expensive. Oh, we didn't know that. Biden renews keep going call on college debt handouts. No way. Goodness. How, like, again, the clickbait is too strong. I walk 10,000 steps every day for a week instead of going to the gym. Japan Airlines plane bursts into flames with 380 people on board. This proposed Roth IRA rollover legislation could revolutionize Roth retirement savings. Florida flounders while DeSantis focuses on running for president. New York City rocked by 1.7 magnitude earthquake and series of explosions. Really? Who won Powerball? Philly mayor to sign 3 executive orders following inauguration. Wonder what the Philly mayor. Grant Cardone warns the U.S. could see 100-year mortgages and become a renter nation. We're already pretty much headed towards being a renter nation, are we not? All right, y'all going to go watch something with the wife. See y'all tomorrow. Thank you, Hydra. Appreciate it, man. A Ukrainian drone pilot described an attack on the Russian Navy being ruined when Elon Musk cut his Starlink. Oh, that might be interesting. But according to Elon Musk, he never cut anything. He just didn't turn it on in that contested zone.
Judge drops most counts in Trump's January 6th civil case? Wait, what? What's this about? U.S. District Court Judge Tuesday dismissed most of the civil counts against Trump and several others for their alleged role in the death of Brian Sicknick. Sicknick's Parker filed the lawsuit last January alleging wrongful death conspiracy device. Oh, wow. What in the world? They literally tried to sue these scumbags, these dirtballs, literally tried to sue Trump for money because of the U.S. Capitol Police officer, Brian Sicknick. I didn't even think he died while defending the Capitol on January 6th. Didn't he die later? Ukraine still got a shot in this? L421. Good question. Boy, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I would say, I guess it depends on what you mean by a shot. Do I think that Ukraine is going to take back all of the territory and take back the Crimea? I would say no. Do I think Ukraine has the ability to get a settlement or a peace deal with Russia where they basically draw the new borders, right, where the lines are right now? Probably, yeah. I would say yeah. On Tuesday, U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta, an appointee of Obama, dismissed 3 of the 5 counts, leaving only conspiracy to fight civil rights charge in the D.C. Survival Act. The move is a win for Trump and his fellow defendants. How stupid. How are you gonna sue Trump for monetary damages for Brian Sicknick's death on January 6th? Trump had next to nothing to do with that. Would Russia respect a diplomatic solution, though? That's the tough question. The only way that happens, the only way that Russia accepts a diplomatic solution like that is if Russia believes that it cannot gain more by military action. And so that's always what leads to peace deals. Peace deals, peace treaties and wars, they always happen once both sides believe that they will not do better by military action, which makes it very difficult to end wars, and frankly, because especially if one side thinks they're going to win outright, and that's why a lot of wars don't end until there's complete and total capitulation, complete and total victory. Right? Because if you're in a war and you believe that you're going to win this entire thing and you're going to come out dominating, you're going to come out as a total, complete and total victor, why would you take a peace deal in the middle of it? And no, it's like you're going to keep fighting. And so that's why wars like this, like Ukraine, Russia, can grind on and grind on and grind on because they're in a stalemate, but they don't believe they're in a stalemate forever. They believe that both sides believe they're going to, eventually be able to go forward. My administration has canceled student debt for 3.6 million people. 3.6 million people have gotten student loan forgiveness. $132 billion. Despite actions from the Supreme Court and MAGA Republicans, I've relieved the student debt of 3.6 million Americans, and we're going to keep going. Wow. Earlier in December, Biden admin announced $5 billion worth of college forgiveness, $2.2 billion in income-driven repayment forgiveness, and $2.8 billion in PSL forgiveness. Wow. Total student loan is at $1.6 trillion. $1.6 trillion. Ukrainian drone pilot described being part of the mission that was ruined when Elon Musk cut Starlink access. I didn't think Elon Musk ever cut Starlink access. That's not what happened. I was hoping my debt would disappear, but I'm not sure it'll happen. Aren't we all, L? Aren't we all? It's brutal. It's brutal having to go back to paying student loans after not paying them for 3 years. Frankly, I really should have bit the bullet and cracked down and got mine paid off over the last 3 or 4 years. But instead, you know what I did? I bought a house And then I took a 2.5-week trip to Africa that cost over $10,000. So yeah, didn't make a lot of progress on my student loans, even though I could have. But don't do what I do. Do what I say. The account was in a report by Ukrainska Pravda. He didn't cut it. He was ordered not to provide service to that area. That's what I thought, TLS. Like, they're claiming that Elon Musk cut Starlink access, and it's like, no. What Elon Musk says is that there was never Starlink access to that disputed zone, and he was not supposed to be providing it to there. And then Ukraine had asked for like a special exemption. It gives the Ukrainian perspective on the incident, which Elon Musk described to his biographer Walter Isaacson, kicking of a series of headlines in late 23. The soldier told the outlet he and his unit planned to attack a Russian frigate using exploding sea drones. In September 22, the ship was near the port of Sevastopol in Crimea. As they drew near 43 miles, their link to the drones was severed. Everyone was on edge as we were going to attack it, and then our comms was cut off. Elon Musk switched off Starlink, which we used to control the vessels. The outlet said that Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation, was watching the operation remotely and tried to talk Musk into restoring access. Musk did not listen to an unnamed individual who was with Fedorov, told the outlet. As a result, the attack on the Admiral Makarov failed. The foiled attack became public knowledge in September 23 when the WAPO published an excerpt from Musk's biography. Musk instructed Starlink engineers to turn off service within 100 kilometers of Crimea as soon as he learned that a strike was underway. Oh, so this is like totally different. Okay, so wow. So Elon Musk's biography by Walter Isaacson even says that Musk told Starlink engineers to turn off service within 100 kilometers of Crimea as soon as he learned that a strike was underway. He feared the attack could be mini Pearl Harbor and lead to a nuclear war. Hours after it was published, Musk defended his actions, saying that to allow Starlink access would have left its operator explicitly complicit in a major act of war and conflict escalation. Since Musk disrupted the attack in 2022, Ukraine has carried out similar strikes on Russian warships in Crimea, though without Starlink. While the war continued to grind on, it did not prompt a sudden escalation. Musk was challenged over his decision, who asked him if his ego and ignorance in that moment had cost Ukrainian lives. He refused to answer. Wow. So the article literally doesn't even say that actually it's disputed whether or not Elon Musk even cut access. Elon Musk doesn't admit that he cut access, quote unquote. Let's check out the GOP war room, shall we? She was happening in the war room.
2023 has seen a soaring crime rate in the district, with violent crime up 39%, motor vehicle theft up 83%, and homicides up 35%. In 2023, there were 274 homicides in the district, the most since 1997, when there were 302. 2023 has seen a soaring crime rate in the district, with violent crime up 39%, motor vehicle theft up 83%, and homicides up 35%. In 2023, there were 274 homicides in the district, the most since 1997, when there were 302.
Holy cow, man. That's crazy. Wow, look at this, dude. Even NBC News. Denver is hitting a breaking point in handling migrant influx. This is crazy. To actually see the mainstream media reporting on the absolute insanity from the migrants, this is crazy.
And joining me now is Denver Mayor Mike Johnson. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us. And my first question is, what resources, just generally, do you feel like you need from the federal government right now amid this surge in migrants?
Why does it care? Why do you care? Why is it the federal government's job? Why do you have to ask for the federal government to provide support to mayors of cities instead of having the federal government do its job and stop the invasion? How about that? How about don't ask him? How about don't ask him for what he needs from the federal government to provide, all these wonderful benefits to all these illegal aliens? Why don't you ask him what more can the federal government do to do its job and stop the border invasion?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, I think we have been pushing really hard that there are 3 key items we need right now. We definitely need the Congress to take action on $1 for support for cities. That's key. I think the second is we need more work authorization for folks that are arriving to our cities. The biggest issue is we have folks here who want to work and are not able to work. And the third is we need their help on.
Wow. So and literally just give them legal status? What a scumbag this guy is. Do you think the U.S. should invade Mexico? No, I don't. I don't think that's necessary. Do I think that the U.S. should do sort of limited military strikes on the drug cartels? Maybe. But like an all-out invasion and like annexation? No. Nah.
For coordinated entry. So we don't have just the governor of one state deciding where all newcomers go, but actually a coordinated plan nationwide for all of our cities and states to be a part of the solution. And we think those 3 things can actually help us be very successful. We just need those 3 things from Congress to be able to their help on a plan for coordinated entry. So we don't have just the governor of one state deciding where all newcomers go, but actually a coordinated plan nationwide.
Wow. So he's literally just saying, yeah, we just want some money to take care of these people. We want to give them legal status. And then we want this all coordinated so that, we're all getting the same number of illegal aliens. Not one word about actually securing the border and stopping the invasion. This is absurd.
All of our cities and states to be a part of the solution. And we think those 3 things can actually help us be very successful. We just need those 3 things from Congress to be able to succeed here at the city level.
What a joke.
You've been pushing on the issue of work authorization specifically for some time now. You asked the White House last month for more authorizations. Have you gotten any response from the Biden administration or any indication that increased authorizations might be part of the negotiations that are going on in D.C. around this border issue?
We're working hard at it. I think they understand it and see it. I met with Secretary Mayorkas months ago, and that was before he then took the step to grant temporary protective status for Venezuelans that came before July 31. That was a tremendous help for many of our Venezuelan newcomers who arrived in August and September. The challenge is now, we have 4,500 migrants in shelter.
Yo, Gidiox. What's up, Gidiox? Welcome. I just hope if we do any sort of strikes, our accuracy is good. I'm not sure we're so good at hitting the right people. Why do you say that? Strikes. Oh, TLS, we were talking about strikes on the Mexican drug cartels. I think the U.S. is pretty darn good at hitting the right people. I thought.
Tonight in Denver, we are the single largest recipient of migrants per capita of any city in America. And almost all those folks that have arrived now don't have access to that temporary protective status, so they don't have.
Good. Why should they get temporary protected status, you scumball? By the way, please, with the follow. Thank you. Please, welcome. Why should they get temporary protected status? They're illegal aliens. They don't deserve come on a special status. They need to be deported and sent home. Go home.
A clear path to work authorization.
A clear path to work authorization. So this guy literally thinks giving the illegal aliens even more bennies. Hey guys, yeah, let's fix the illegal invasion by illegal aliens by giving them more bennies. This guy's a scumball, dirtbag, Democrat mayor of Denver. Oh, we can take out the right people. We just might have a bunch of collateral, and those people will be radicalized against us, understandably so. Now we're worried about like Mexicans becoming terrorists? I don't think that's a real concern. Did you see Mayor of Boston said all people have a right to come to the U.S.? No way, guess. These Democrat mayors are scum. They're out there admitting that this is a nightmare, horrible, horrible situation, and then they're basically saying this is all totally fine and this is unbelievable. Sid Machinery, what's up, Sid? Welcome. 130 years ago, the USA got invaded heavily, a huge spike in immigration there. Why was that wave good and the current immigration bad? Lots of different reasons, Sid. The legality of it, the types of people that were coming, what the processes that were followed. the skills that the immigrants had, the situation of the United States at the time, the situation of the population at the time. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why. Thanks for the welcome. You're welcome, man. Bad Boys 45. What's up, Bad Boys?
That makes it harder and harder for us to help them. And every time I see folks, they ask me.
Paths to citizenship are horrible. All that does, paths to citizenship, all that does, or giving them temporary protected status, or giving them work permits, or any of that crap, all that does is increase the sex slavery, sex trafficking, human trafficking, child sex slavery. That's what's disgusting about this. The stuff that these guys are talking. Look at this scumball. Look at this dirtball, Democrat mayor of Denver, literally proposing policies that increase child sex slavery. That's how big of a scumbag these Democrats are. They're putting out policies and supporting policies that increase the amount of child sex slavery. How do these people sleep at night? How do these people even look themselves in the mirror supporting policies that increase child sex slavery? These people are scum. Yeah, no kidding, guess, right?
Thing, which is just, how can I get a job? All I need is access to work. And so we're optimistic that that's making progress, and we think there's.
Look at this guy, all happy and nice and safe and wonderful, and sitting here proposing policies that increase child sex slavery. This guy's scum. Helps drive down wages too, and that's one thing the economy needs is higher wages to make up for all the higher. True, TLS. Yep.
Area of bipartisan support. Nothing more un-American than having someone come to the country and telling them they can't work to support themselves once they get here. So we think whatever Congress decides is.
It's un-American to have laws. What? This is unbelievable to listen to this crap.
Their admission policy, that's got to come with clear.
Holy smokes! Eric Karstensen in the house with the resub for 1 month at tier 1. They've been subbed for 13 months. Yo, lecture. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Eric. Happy New Year, Eric. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in.
To work once they
Hope
arrive.
you've been well.
We had the mayor of Houston on just before Christmas. We've had a lot of mayors who've been talking about this issue publicly. I'm curious what the conversations are like behind the scenes, the contact you have with your fellow big city.
Yeah, I'm a creationist. We need to have a 100-year ban on any immigration. We absolutely need to put a stop to all immigration, guys. I don't know if it needs to be 100 years. I don't know if it needs to be 100 years, but we can just start with, indefinitely. Well, let's put a stop on all immigration right now until we can figure out what the heck is going on. And then in 10 years, we'll reassess. I don't think it needs to be a 100-year ban, but we ought to definitely do a 10-year and we can reassess in 10 years. Unbelievable. Do you think Biden will lose votes among the left for his stance on Israel? I certainly hope so, El. Although I don't know what the left is mad about with Biden's stance on Israel. Biden is doing everything he can to undermine Israel. Everything Biden has done has been anti-Israel, anti-Jew, anti-American, undermined American foreign policy, undermined the Israelis, undermined the Jewish movement, undermined the state of Israel. So if you're some anti-Semite, if you're some radical leftist anti-Semite Jew hater, genocidal murderous Jew hater, I would assume that you'd be happy with Biden. Wouldn't you be happy with Biden? Bad Boys, to find the illegals that's in the USA and send them back. Find the illegals that's in the USA. Yeah. Dude, Donald Trump called for the largest deportation operation in American history. Did he not? Which is the best idea ever. I fully support it. That's what we need right now. We need the largest ever deportation operation. Israel didn't give Hunter enough money to get the support from Joe. Right. He needs to learn something, or Israel needs to learn something from Hunter. Oh, come on. That is so loud. Sorry, guys, if I just hurt your eardrums. Holy cow. What is this? If I put this video on YouTube, I don't necessarily want to get copyright striked. Let's see what I was usually Trump truths out some videos and stuff. Trump truthed out. They had 3 years to file. Now I get their rushed and bad papers on New Year's Eve election interference. Yeah, really. Heading to big and enthusiastic crowds in the great state of Iowa on Friday and Saturday. See everyone there. There's an invasion going on at our southern border. Millions of people, including drug lords, human traffickers, and terrorists, are being welcomed into the USA by the worst and most incompetent president in the history of our country, crooked Joe Biden, MAGA 2024. Holy cow. Page 1, summary of election fraud in the 2020 presidential election in the swing states. I am pleased to share a report that is fully verified. Most of the information was gotten from government sources, tapes, and other public records compiled by the most highly qualified election experts in the country. These numbers are determinative and, in all cases, are hundreds of thousands of votes per swing state, more than I needed to win that state. If the Republican Senate does not step forward and address this atrocity, it will happen again and by virtually impossible for Republicans to win elections in the future. What's this? Wow, Trump actually posted out. Trump truthed out an actual 32-page report. Trump and Biden are more similar than different on Israel with change in rhetoric, in my opinion. Totally incorrect, Al. No. Joe Biden, his rhetoric is the same as Trump's in terms of I support Israel. But Biden's actions are very anti-Israel. No, Trump and Biden are the opposite on Israel. They're Trump and Biden foreign policies are very, very opposite when it comes to not only Israel, but a lot of other things too. Lots of their foreign policy is the opposite of each other. Biden's a classic left-wing foreign policy, and Trump was a sort of classic right-wing foreign policy. They're very different. Eric Carstensen, sorry to say this lecture. I really do believe in a Biden v. Trump rematch. Biden is likely to win. Oh, I agree, Eric. I agree. I think Biden will beat Trump, which is why I'm voting for DeSantis in the primary. We need to make any government benefits to U.S. citizens. Only then the illegals lose motivations to come. Right, Guess. Right. No, I mean, that's the thing, Guess. We need to make sure that illegal aliens get no government benefits and they get no job and they don't get anything from anybody, and it's not a wonderful life here when you're an illegal alien. Now, look, if there was an illegal alien that came and knocked on my door and said they were hungry and they were thirsty, like, yeah, I'd give them food and I'd give them water. You know, but as a country, we have to have policies that actually benefit the country and don't allow for child sex slavery. Like, that's what's going on with when we have an open border like this, where the cartels are making billions off of this, and the cartels control the border, and the cartels they're doing child sex trafficking and child sex slavery on the border, and the cartels do that kind of stuff, and the cartels are doing it more because they're making so much money off this wide open border. So again, these are policies that encourage some of the most horrific things that go on in the world. Vike is in the house. Banana Senpai's in the house. Guitar players in the house. What's up, guys? Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I was just in Key West, Florida for New Year's Eve. Surprisingly very pro-Trump. Nice. Yeah, Key West is pretty known as being a LGBTQ hotspot and pretty liberal. But I like Key West, Florida. I like Key West. I like the Florida Keys. Beautiful, beautiful part of the country for sure. I used to drive down from Miami down to Key West and back and stuff just for fun. It was cool. The polls showed Trump winning even in the popular vote, which he never did before. Right, guitar player. The polls also showed Hillary Clinton winning in 2016. They showed the Republicans winning in 2020. They showed Republicans winning in 2022. The polls have been wrong pretty much every time, so I wouldn't rely on them too much. Did you see the left calling Claudine Gay removal racist and due to white supremacy, not her academic fraud? I saw that Claudine basically said that, like she blamed it on racism, but how stupid. Nobody believes that. Summary of election fraud in the 2020 presidential election in the swing states. Out of fraud, no action arises. Out of fraud, no action. What's that? Out of fraud, no action arises. It has often been repeated there is no evidence of fraud in the 2020 election. In actuality, there is no evidence Joe Biden won. In Georgia, President Trump was up by 12 points over 335,000 votes with 56% of the vote in at 10:17 p.m. Ongoing investigations in the swing state reveal hundreds of thousands of votes were altered or not lawfully cast in the presidential election. Joe Biden needed them on election night, November 3rd, 2020. Trump was sailing to re-election with landslide leads in numerous battlegrounds. In Georgia, Trump was up by 12 points and over 34,000 votes, 56% of the vote. In Wisconsin, Trump was leading by 121,000 votes and 5 points at 12:12 a.m., which Fox News Inc. noted was not a small margin. In Pennsylvania, Trump was leading by 659,000 votes at 12:38 a.m., a full 15 points. In Michigan, Trump was leading by 293,000 votes and 10 points. The election was over. However, precincts in Atlanta, Detroit, Philly, Phoenix, and Milwaukee kept counting until the results reached the desired outcome, which was the opposite of the will of the voters. Georgia went from having a total of 4.7 million votes, already a record for the state, according to Brad Raffensperger count on November 4th, to certifying almost 5 million. This was 300,000 more votes than what top election officials claimed were cast in the election. Going to this result in Georgia and other states created an irredeemably compromised election filled with violations of the Constitution, unlawful ballots, widespread broken chain of custody, electronic manipulation, missing and corrupted election files that made it uncertifiable and impossible to recreate the results. Trump was right to voice his objections when it unfolded. Republican poll watchers were denied access to the counting. Multiple jurisdiction ballots were counted in secret in the middle of the night. Without media observers present, countless irregularities emerged, including ineligible voters, voting machine anomalies, water main breaks, improbable percentages of ballots for Biden, and more. Since, investigations across the country have uncovered an avalanche of irregularities, unlawful activity, manipulation of election records, destruction of evidence, and fraud. The findings, which are outcome determinative, are detailed in the summaries of the swing states. It is a fraud to conceal a fraud. So is this a report that like Trump made? Like who made this report? I guess this is Trump's report. I don't know. Sounds interesting. I agree. I mean, when you actually go back and you recreate what happened on election night 2020, boy, it does seem odd. If Trump loses, will he concede this time? Probably not. DeSantis has no chance. Disagree. Do you think morality is mostly derived from religion / Christianity? Do you think moral values without belief don't exist? I think that there's good and evil and right and wrong in the world that exists. That's objective, just like there's true and false. I think God created the world and God created everything. So morality derived from Christianity, I guess. Yeah. Do you think moral values without belief don't exist? No. I think people can have moral values without believing in God. The mail-in ballot drums, right? We saw the spike live. Right, guess. Right. I remember watching it on election night 2020, and the spike happened at 3 a.m. or whatever, East Coast, which is like 1 a.m. my time. My grandparents came legally in the 60s, no benefits, just hard work with little savings my grandpa collected from his time in the Mexican army. They built themselves up and raised a majority immigrant family that wasn't entitled to anything. It's always interesting to talk to my uncles about this. They all hate illegals and want strict enforcement since they grew up without the benefits illegals get now. Amen, Banana Senpai. That's awesome. That's great to hear, Banana Senpai. Good for you and your family. That's great to hear, man. Trump will be winning until 3 a.m. Dude, that's why I think... Num, what's up, Num? Good to see you. That's why I don't think that the conservative counties and the small counties should report their results until after these Democrat counties. I don't like it that all of the conservative counties, all the rural counties report their results, and then, oh, we're all just waiting on Philadelphia, guys. We got all the counties in. We got all the votes in except Philadelphia. Let's wait for Philadelphia. And then at 3 a.m., Philadelphia is the last to report. And boom, it switches from Trump winning to Biden winning. No, we don't trust Philadelphia here. Let's be real. My mom was born in Mexico and obtained her citizenship legally. She voted for Trump, and so did her brothers, my uncle. That's awesome, Banana. Very cool. Your Astraza, what's up? Thanks for the answer. I agree. Awesome, Sid. North Carolina passes a law requiring porn sites to verify the user over 18. Pornhub is no longer available in the state. That happened in Montana, guitar player. That literally happened in Montana. That was big news. I talked about that on the radio a whole bunch last week. Pornhub canceled access from Montana, all because we wanted porn sites to verify age of users. So what that tells me is that Pornhub has a lot of underage users that they want used to their website. That website ought to be shut down. I agree. Hold the votes like they do. Right, Vike. We should all hold all the conservative counties should hold their votes until after the conservatives. Is there no way to follow these? Like, oh man, come on, Truth Social. Should we continue to try to watch this trash, this Denver mayor scumbag openly supporting more policies that are going to encourage even more illegal aliens?
There's all of you trying to address this issue from slightly different perspectives.
Eric Carson lecture. When will the Supreme Court overturn the rulings in Maine and Colorado? They may not, Eric. They may not. The Supreme Court does not have to take those cases. You have no right to appeal to the Supreme Court. You have no right to have the Supreme Court hear your case. The Supreme Court, I think they only take like 5% of the cases or 1%. The Supreme Court is asked to take like 10,000 cases a year, and they take like 100 of them or something. It's like maybe it's like 0.1%. They don't have to take this case. They do not. And the one thing that the Supreme Court does not like. The Supreme Court doesn't like being told by anybody else what cases they have to take and what cases they don't have to take. The Supreme Court may just say, screw it. Like, we're not going to take this case. So when you say, when will the Supreme Court overturn the rulings? First of all, they may not even take the case. Second, if they do, they may not overturn it. Why would they take it? Why would they take either of those cases, Eric? Because in both of those cases, the states, whether it was the Supreme Court in Colorado or the Secretary of State in Maine, both of those, they basically said, yeah, we're not actually going to enforce our rules here. They basically said, we're not going to implement this rule yet. We're just going to put our own ruling on hold. That's what they both said. So the Supreme Court's like, okay, you're not even implementing your own rule. You're not even putting your own order into effect. Like, why would we take this and reverse it when you yourself like said it's not even going into effect? Right. Right. It's like, let these states do what they want. Like, if this is the future Democrats want, where Joe Biden gets removed from all the ballots in the conservative states and Trump gets removed from all the ballots in the and we literally don't even, like, it's so bad what the Democrats have done. They're so authoritarian. These Democrats and these moves to remove Trump, this is Putin level. This is Putin level authoritarianism. The Democrats are everything they claim to be against. Democrats are everything they claim to be against. Removing Trump from the ballot is Putin-style authoritarianism. Look at this. Look at this. NBC News tweets out, Al Sharpton, Harvard president's resignation is an attack on every black woman in the U.S. John Jackson, beautiful, beautiful. Goku Gaines in the house. What up, Goku Gaines? Crazy how Democrats are disenfranchising voters in their own states. Oh, I know. The Trump ballot case is too important for them to not take it. I don't think they want to have courts and a Secretary of State deciding elections. We'll see. There's a good chance they take it, guitar player. It is an important issue, and the Democrats are out of control, and these courts and these secretaries of state are out of control, and it would be beautiful. And here's the other thing, though. There is an argument, though, that says basically that the Supreme Court is likely to take this because you've got it's a issue of constitutional concern. You know, this is an important constitutional issue, and you've got the lower courts that are basically divided on the issue. And so these are the types of situations where the Supreme Court does like to weigh in when it's a federal constitutional issue that other courts are disagreeing about. And remember, Trump is like 35-1 on these cases. The vast majority of these cases have got thrown out and lost. Like the Colorado one is an anomaly. What would happen if Trump gets taken off the ballot in a purple state like Pennsylvania or Arizona? If it actually goes through, then Trump loses the election. In regards to people's reaction, I think people's reaction would be way, way more severe, Eric. If it wasn't a state like Maine or Colorado or whatever that Republicans haven't won in decades, people don't really care. If it was a swing state or a purple state, I think people would freak out a lot more. And I think you'd see probably a lot more going on. I'm moving to Russia. Removing Trump from the ballot is Hamas style of government. It really is, Nam. It really is. All this crap Dems are doing is how countries split. Yep. I read the Minnesota High Court ruling Pisco was lying to you. The reason was it would be interference in a matter for elections. Is that right, Guess? Is that right? I hadn't even read the Minnesota court ruling. So if Pisco said something to me about the Minnesota court ruling, I wouldn't have had the first clue because I never had read it. But good to know, Guess. Appreciate that. By the way, Guess, did you see the Dylan Burns announcement tweet? Did you see the Dylan Burns announcement tweet? Check this out, guys. Check this out. How do I go to my profile? What the freak? How do you even go to your profile? Add an existing account, log out. Add an existing account, log. Home, explore, notifications, profile. I had retweeted it. Yeah, here it is. What's up? Hippy Dippy winner. Hippy Dippy Lecture Fan 2023 winner. What's up? Let's go. Dylan Burns TV. If you haven't watched it, Hippy Dippy yet, what are you waiting for? Go to Dylan Burns Live on YouTube and tune in. Spoiler alert, announcing the winner of the 2023 Hippy Dippy Rumble Spectacular. I thought it was the Hippy Dippy special event. What's this Hippy Dippy Rumble Spectacular? But there's your boy. Lecture Fan 2023 winner in the house. Pisco lying? Right, what a surprise. Can suits be filed against Dems in these states for voter suppression? Yes, Goku Gains. All it takes to file a suit is a piece of paper and the filing fee. So yes, you can file any suit you want. Now, lawyers can't if they want to maintain their law license, but people can. I mean, you might get sanctioned for it. You might have the judge throw you in jail if it's bad enough or something like that. But you can. All it takes to file a lawsuit is a piece of paper and the filing fee. Now, if you're asking me if those will be successful, that's a different question. Do you think Robert Kennedy will be a major player in the election? Do you foresee him attending the Commission of Presidential Debates? No, I don't think he's going to be a major player, and no, I don't see him attending anything. I think he's a nothing. He's a nothing. He has zero chance. Nobody cares. He's trolling mostly. Yeah, he is blowing it off like you win was a fluke. Is that right, Guess? Is that why like he's kind of just treating it like no big deal? Honestly, election feels like life in politics was more normal 20 years ago. Do you have that? Absolutely, Eric. Yeah. No, it's so sad to see what our country's become. Yeah, TLS. What does that say, TLS? When somebody gets fired for cheating and plagiarizing, and the Democrats say that this is a race issue, what are the Democrats saying? When someone gets fired for cheating and plagiarizing, and Democrats say it is a race issue, what are Dems really saying? Doesn't sound good. Democrats are racist as all hell.
All around the country.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation and partnership. Obviously, right now, Chicago and New York and Denver together, we've accepted more than 200,000 migrants. So we are the great majority of all of the incoming traffic right now. So we have been in regular contact, but I've also been in a lot of contact with other mayors from other cities, some of whom have less inflow of migrants right now and are willing to be a part of the coalition to find a better solution. So I think when you're a city mayor, you're nonpartisan, you don't have a
Alaster, what's up, Alaster? The radio demon. What's up, Alaster? Welcome. She didn't get fired. She resigned. Oh, okay. But she was going to get fired if she didn't resign. Biden did this, I'm assuming, right? That's the only way she would have ever resigned, since she absolutely has no integrity. She has no dignity. She has no self-respect. She has no shame. So I'm assuming she would. Although you have to wonder, because basically that Harvard board, the board of Harvard, is like just as radical left and just as woke.
A flag in the ideological battle in DC. You just want to be able to run your city effectively. And what we need really is this work authorization plus resources and a coordinated plan. And we think that gets us a long way towards a successful strategy.
Oh, yeah. So just give them work authorization, guys. Just make it even better. Make it even better for the illegal aliens. Make their lives better so that then people all around the world will realize, hey, yeah, come to America illegally. You'll get a free work permit. Does this guy know like 2 + 2 is 4? Does this guy know basic logic? Like, dude, giving more benefits and making life better for the illegal aliens means more are going to start coming, you idiot, not less. Oh, I forgot. He wants more illegal aliens. He wants rapes on the border. He wants child sex. I look into this guy's eyes and I see evil. I really do.
My understanding is this has become something of a political fight in Colorado, where you've had some of the surrounding counties and communities very concerned about how Denver is handling this. Does the governor step in that situation? I mean, talk to me about how this is working in your region, in your broader community.
The governor has been a great support for us, so we're lucky to have Governor Polis, and his team has done a fantastic job to help us with resources and other supports. But we do know this is a regional issue. I mean, the major reason we're the top recipient for migrants right now is because we are the shortest and cheapest bus ticket north of El Paso. You come straight north on I-25 from El Paso, Denver is the first big city you hit. And so we think this does need to be a regional solution. We're talking to mayors around the region. And frankly, we're hitting a point where there's not much else we can do. We have almost filled every single available hotel room in the city and county of Denver. And so we're over 4,500 migrants in shelter tonight, if that number can.
Why are you giving them hotel rooms? Why are you giving them hotel rooms? The Democrat mayor of Denver said on MSNBC that they filled all the hotels up in Denver with illegal aliens. They've got 4,500 illegal aliens staying in hotels in Denver. No follow-up question about why they're paying for hotels for illegals. What in the world? 4,500 illegal aliens in hotels? Can I get a hotel? Can I get a free hotel on my next trip to Denver, or is that only for illegal aliens? Any Democrats care to answer? Post. This is psychopathic, dude. What the heck? Goku gains. Interesting law in Florida taking effect this year that's making elected officials resign. Really?
New tonight, elected officials all across the state are abruptly resigning before the new year. We're talking about the vice mayor in Naples, 4 city council members in St. Pete Beach, including the vice mayor, 4 council members in Bel Air Beach, the mayor and a council member in Denellen, 2 city commissioners in Daytona Beach Shores, and there are even more. Way too many to list. Fox 35's Chris Lindsay is joining us live from Daytona.
Right, Num. How absurd.
Shores tonight.
You know, Eric, I'm fired up about this. This is an outrage. We all ought to be we ought to shut this country down. We all ought to be out in the streets protesting until this ends. Our country is going down the drain because conservatives won't engage in civil disobedience. Conservatives just continue to get up and go to work and be good, dutiful citizens and do our jobs and come home and be. Meanwhile, we should be basically engaged in civil disobedience in the streets, like shut this country down until this stops. I'm willing to get out into the streets over this and legitimately bring this entire country to a screeching halt until this ends. Nefaz Dominic, what's up? We need to convert DeSantis to the Democrat Party so we can get free hotel stays for our Florida beach trips. Oh, true. Nice. Another John Jackson tweet. Former Israeli, he says hero to this. Former Israeli spy chief Zavi Zamir, who led the agency between 68 and 74, pioneered a strategy that endures to this day, deploying secret operatives abroad to assassinate Israel's enemies. Boom, baby. Boom. Assassinate. Ex-Israeli spy who headed Mossad in 73 war, dead at 98.
So, Chris, this is all over a new law that's about to go into effect.
Yes, starting January 1st, elected officials will have to fill out Form 6. It discloses all of their financial information. And all over the state of Florida, officials are stepping down because they believe that form is an invasion of privacy.
We don't get a dime for what we do here. We do this for the love of our community.
Bel Air Beach Mayor Dave Gaddis says 4 of his 5 council members have resigned ahead of the new year, all because of a new form they will have to fill out starting January 1st. It requires them to share their net worth and the dollar amount of every asset they own over $1,000. The goal, to achieve transparency and identify conflicts of interest.
Why did it suddenly have to become so invasive? We were already reporting our financial situation, but now they want it so granular that it almost looks like an attack on home rule.
No, the reason is, buddy, is because politicians are corrupt as all hell. We got politicians in America that are corrupt as all get out and getting away with horrible voting on issues where they own the company that they're voting on type crap. That's why.
An attack on.
Do you think the Palestinians ever have freedom? You're asking me to predict the future about the Palestinians? No, I don't think they'll ever have freedom. No, I don't.
Small municipalities
in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, when they stop attacking Israel, which they're never going to do, Vike. So yeah, if they were to finally say, "Hey, I'm no longer going to be a Jew hater. I'm no longer going to be a genocidal, radical, extremist, Arab, Muslim Jew hater, and I'm going to accept the fact that Jews are human beings and have a right to live." If they ever came and said that, then yeah, they could leave in peace. But they're never going to do that. So no, I don't think they will.
Shores, 2 commissioners have stepped down, leaving just 3 left until the city can fill the empty seats in March. Commissioner Richard Bryan says he was planning to resign for other reasons.
As I'm working on an extremely important public health effort.
But the news of this new law sped up his decision.
I think it will have the effect of significantly reducing the number of qualified people who are willing to run for local office. I mean, your net worth doesn't have anything to do with your conflict of interest.
I reached out to Lake Mary State Senator Jason.
The net worth one, it's like, yeah, I guess I'm not sure why the public needs to know your net worth. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to require public officials to disclose what businesses they own and stuff like that, because then if there's a conflict of interest, the public will know that, hey, this guy shouldn't be voting on this particular issue because he owns this business or he owns this piece of property or whatever. Like, I think that makes sense. But the net worth, I guess I kind of agree with that. Like, all right, I can see the point. Like, why does the public need to know your net worth? I don't know.
Brodeur, who sponsored the new law.
Right, Banana Senpai. Of course, these are the same people that are mad that Trump never released his tax returns. Right.
The governor signed.
Why is Israel absolved when they violate human rights constantly? It's not as simple as you make it out to be. Israel is not absolved when they don't violate human rights. Al, that's the difference. To the extent that there are civilians in Gaza that are dying, that's Hamas's responsibility. Israel, when Hamas embeds themselves in the Palestinian civilians or whatever, and Hamas starts using hospitals and mosques and churches and stuff as military operations, and when Hamas uses little kids and little women as human shields, and then Israel is like, hey, there's a freaking terrorist here, we're gonna bomb him, and then innocent people die because Hamas used them as human shields. That's the fault of Hamas, not Israel. That's a human rights violation by Hamas, not Israel. Why are you singling out Israel and treating Israel so differently than everybody else? What's your problem with Israel, man? Why do you single out Israel and then apply standards to Israel that you apply to nobody else? It's starting to raise some questions, man.
Back in May, he issued a statement which partially reads, "In a city, you can spend tens of millions."
Oh, that's a good point, Vike. That's a good point, Vike. Yeah. It's like, yeah, if you make $100K a year and all of a sudden your net worth went from 0 to 10 million in 1 year as mayor, what the heck happened? I think that's fair.
Billions of dollars with his
I think this should be initiated in the federal government. I disagree. I think this is a state issue for state public officials. Now, the federal government, I think, would make sense to have federal laws that apply to federal officials that are just like this.
Has 3 votes. Taxpayers deserve transparency. If a simple disclosure that hundreds of other...
Wait, was I yelling? Wait, did I really hurt your guys' ears because of me yelling or because of my voice? Do I need to turn down my audio or just not yell? Do you guys want me to just not yell or what? You guys need to turn me down. Why do you guys have me up so loud? That's 2 people that I hurt your ears. Was that because of my yelling or because of something else? Israel's not a theocracy. Okay, next issue.
Elected officials already do make...
And if that is L, then why are you only ranting and raving against Israel and not any other quote unquote theocracies? Even saying that Israel is a theocracy kind of either shows that you're either ignorant or you don't understand theocracies or something. Because Israel's not a theocracy. But you know who is? Iran. And you know what you're not talking about right now? You're not talking about Iran. So again, starting to raise some questions here, L. Starting to wonder about you. Maybe a little bit of racism, maybe a little bit of anti-Semitism. Do you hate Jews, L? Do you hate Jews, L? Just honestly, just say, do you hate Jews? It's all good. You're at your best when you're disgusted. I agree, Vike. I agree. That is when I'm at my best. More angry lecture fan. Thank you, guys. Okay. All right, good, Al. I was starting to wonder there.
Quit, then voters should be glad.
And another city councilor who stepped down here in Daytona Beach Shores just walked up a couple of moments ago. He didn't want to be on camera, but he said that it is indeed an invasion of his privacy. He says that today is his last day and his tenure is over at midnight tonight. Reporting live in Daytona Beach Shores, Chris Lindsay, Fox 35 News.
Good for Florida. Good for Florida. That's what I like to see.
Continues to rise. We just wouldn't have the capacity in Denver to support it. So we are reaching out beyond our borders, and we know people have questions and concerns, but I think they also don't want to see families and kids homeless in the streets of our cities. And so we want to make sure we find a solution.
Right, guitar player, right.
To that end, you've said you've not considered turning away any of these buses of migrants that are coming to your city, but is there a point at which that's something Denver might have to do or something you might have to consider?
Yeah, we're going to hit a capacity at which we just won't be able anymore to manage the amount of inflow. And so we're trying to avoid that problem, but we know we can't keep growing at this pace. When I took the oath of office 6 months ago, we had about 400 migrants in shelter. We are more than 10 times that number right now. We've brought 35,000 through this year, and remarkably been able to get 99% of them up and placed into housing or work or onward travel. And so we have been very successful, but now we're hitting a breaking point at which there's just not enough volume of work or of housing in the city to support this ongoing volume. Not to mention the impact on city budgets. This could be $160 or $180 million.
The Democrat mayor of Denver says that Denver is out of housing and out of work, so illegals can't get housing or work there anymore. But then he supports bringing even more illegals into the country. What is wrong with leftists? Yo, whoa, medium K2 resub for 1 month of tier 1. Boom. Thank you, medium K. I didn't realize you just resubbed. Evening, sir. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, medium 2K. Or I'm sorry, medium K2. Thank you, medium. Appreciate that for the resub. The tier 1 resub coming in hot. Hope you're doing well, medium. Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, Israel is not an ethno state, not a theocracy, not an apartheid state. Again, L, if you're calling Israel those things, that sounds like anti-Semitism because, again, you're singling out the Jews. You're singling out the Jews and you're targeting Jews. And it's really kind of starting to raise questions about your motivations, L. Why are you singling out Jews and targeting Jews like this? And why are you applying standards to Jews that you don't apply to anybody else? Really, because if you really looked objectively at it, you would be recognizing that, wow, Israel is a wonderful, wonderful country. They have respect for all human rights. It doesn't matter if you're Arab or Muslim in Israel. You have full civil rights and everything else. Israel is a shining example to everybody else in the Middle East. They're a wonderful, wonderful country. They're doing everything right. It's these radical Arab Muslim terrorists that are the entire problem. But instead you're singling Israel out and you're singling them out. And applying standards you don't apply to anybody else, and then accusing them of things that are not true, and you're making false accusations and blood libels against the Jews. It really is starting to raise some questions. Palestine is losing their war with Israel. What do you expect? What do you think losing war looks like? It looks like Palestine. Oh, geez. Alastair says Israel give Palestinians freedoms in Israel. Israel is a democracy. They give everyone who lives in Israel free. Exactly, Alastair. Israel is a wonderful, wonderful country that gives full rights, full civil rights to everybody. It's ridiculous to attack Israel the way L is. Really, 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 really bizarre to single out the Jews like this and to really target the Jews like L is doing. Really kind of raises some disturbing questions in my mind. You can't keep people in a cage, bro. L, if those people are genocidal, murderous terrorists, you damn well you better keep them in a cage, otherwise they're going to kill Jews. Do you have any idea what happened on October 7th? If the Palestinians wanted to live in peace, they could if the Palestinians and Hamas put down their weapons, there'd be peace in the Middle East. If Israel put down their weapons, you'd have a genocide happen. There is one side that's in the right, and there is one side in the wrong. There is one side that's good and one side that's evil. This is called right and wrong and good and evil, and it sounds to me like you're on the side of evil. Plenty of wars go 50 plus years. Europe had many of them. That's a good point, Num. That's a good point. Yes, Israel left Gaza in 2005. Then Palestinians elected Hamas. Absolutely right, Vike. Yep. And then they started running terrorist operations. They started using all of they started stealing humanitarian aid and using that for terrorist operations. I just think you haven't thought of the Palestinian perspective. I have, L. The Palestinian perspective is mostly driven by Jew hatred and anti-Semitism, radical Islamic views, genocidal views, type stuff. Here's the other thing, L. I've actually studied the history of this conflict, and the quote-unquote Palestinians, which Palestinians are not a people, Palestine is not a country, there's never been a Palestinian culture, there's not a Palestinian language. The Palestinians are just Arab Muslims. They're just Arab Muslims that live in Gaza, okay? And I've actually studied the history of it. And the Arab Muslims that call themselves Palestinians, they've hated the Jews from the very beginning. They've refused to accept the right of Israel to exist. They've had the opportunity for a two-state solution in 48. They had the opportunity for a two-state solution in 67. They had the opportunity for a two-state solution in 73. They had the opportunity for a two-state solution in 97. And guess what? They said, no, we want to kill Jews. We want to kill Jews more. That's what they said. And they said, nope, we don't accept Israel's right to exist. Israel agreed to give these Arab Muslims their own state. And they refused because they wanted to go on a genocide against Jews because they hate Jews. If you don't recognize the reality of the anti-Semitism and the Jew hatred and the genocide that's coming from Iran and Hamas and a lot of other places in the Middle East, then you're missing the main point of the whole story. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Why doesn't L here? Why doesn't L talk about Egypt and Jordan being apartheid states? And Egypt and Jordan are apartheid states because they won't let the Palestinians in. Why? Why, L? Tell us, L. Why won't Egypt and Jordan let Palestinians in? And why aren't you attacking them? Why are you singling out the Jews? Why are you so obsessed with singling out and attacking Jews? And you don't do the same. You don't do the same thing to anybody else who's got the same situation going on. You just single out the Jews.
In our budget next year, that's almost 15% of the entire city budget. So those are numbers we certainly couldn't accommodate on our own without real help.
And to that end, I mean, New York City's mayor, Eric Adams, they've been getting hammered by this. He told a reporter recently, said something to the effect of, not everyone that's coming into this country is pursuing the American dream. It sounded somewhat Trumpian. I mean,
I want the Jews. Americans want the Jews. I love Jews. America loves Jews. Most Europeans and Europe loves Jews. It's really only the radical Islamic genocidal ones that don't like the Jews. That's why I'm saying don't like the Jews, and that's a fact. If are you seriously denying the fact? Are you seriously denying the fact that there's a very, very disgusting, evil amount of Jew hatred and genocidal Jew killers that run Iran and all the proxies, including Hamas? Like, are you denying that?
And I wonder how you feel like, does that narrative kind of play into the anti-immigrant argument that we're hearing from Donald Trump and some of his supporters? How do you view that?
I mean, the thing that actually gives me hope about this scenario is that every day it's quite clear to me there is a path to solve it. And when I talk to migrants every single day, all they say is, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't need help or charity. All I want is a job. At the same time, I get calls every day from employers and CEOs who say, hey, Mike, I hear there are a bunch of migrants just arrived. I want to hire them. Can I please hire them? So we have people here who desperately want to work. We have employers here who definitely want to hire them. We have a federal government.
You idiot. You just got done saying that you're out of jobs. I can't deal with this. The guy just got done saying that there's no more jobs. The guy just got done saying there's no more jobs in Denver. We're out of housing in Denver. We're out of jobs. There's no more work in Denver. And then 2 seconds later, yeah, I'm getting calls every day. I'm getting calls every single day from people that want to hire these illegal aliens. Sure, buddy. A bunch of illiterate, no-skilled illegal aliens. Yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of CEOs wanting to hire them. Holy smokes, man. Disagree, Al. It's not a conflict about territory and human rights. It's a conflict about whether the Jews should be genocided and we should kill all the Jews. That's what this is about, Al. And it sounds to me like you're taking the side of kill all the Jews. This is a question of, can the Jews live and can Jews survive, or should we kill all the Jews? That's what this is about. That's the two choices here. That's what this war is about. That's what the Israel-Palestine issue has always been about. And a lot of the people on the left don't want the Jews to exist. That's why they criticize Zionism, which literally Zionism is literally just, hey, the Jews should be able to live. No, that's horrible. No, you guys are evil. And it's like, what? Hold on. So you're like, a lot of these leftists are literally, they don't even believe that Jews have the right to live. This is evil stuff. This is right and wrong, good and evil.
But the thing is, for sanctuary cities and states, they complain about the cost, but they continue to add services. I want to show you California. As of yesterday, California has added a health care benefit for migrants. They are now going to extend free health care to migrants between the ages of 26 and 49. That's going to cover 700,000 additional people and cost the state.
New policy proposal. I'm not going to tweet that one. Never mind. Hopefully nobody saw what I just typed.
$2.6 billion.
No, but it's like I was thinking. It's like, wait, hold on. So why should illegal aliens get to come to America and get free healthcare? Like, why don't we have a policy that says illegal aliens come here and they have to pay for our healthcare? See how unfair that is? That's why I didn't want to tweet it, because I didn't want to tweet out something that's obviously unfair. But it's like the point is to literally point out the unfairness of it. Democrats are fine with illegal aliens coming to America and getting healthcare paid for by me and you. But boy, don't propose that illegal aliens have to pay for our healthcare. There we go. That's a better tweet. Democrats are fine with illegal aliens coming to America and getting health care paid for by me and you. But boy, don't propose that illegal aliens have to pay for our health care. Can Montana make illegals pay for our health care, and California can make citizens pay for illegals? I mean, isn't that the same thing? It's just vice versa. Like in California, the American citizens have to pay for illegal aliens' health care. Can't we say, like, in our state, actually the illegal aliens have to pay for my health care? If illegal aliens are coming to this state, they should be paying for my health care. I mean, see how that vice versa? See how that doesn't sound quite right? See how that horrible that is? It's funny because the Arab nationalists actually courted Hitler for influence to get rid of Europeans in the Middle East. That's funny. I didn't know that. Makes sense, though. Any sane person living in Cali should make a hasty exit. Agreed. Palestinians, quote unquote, aren't being genocided. They're in the middle of a war. They're losing. Right, Num. It's like, dude, if Israel wanted to commit a genocide, the situation would be a lot different. I truly don't understand the know-nothings like Vosh saying that Israel is committing genocide. If Israel wanted to commit genocide, I promise this situation would be very, very different. How can anyone say such a thing with a straight face? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what the situation would be like if Israel actually wanted to commit a genocide? You think Gaza looks bad now? Just wait. Isn't California racking up its largest budget deficit in history? They're proposing to add free healthcare. Yes, TLS. Yep. Nope, they don't know. Or they do, TLS. They just don't care about how a budget works. Gidiox. I don't know about positing legal immigration from certain countries, but certainly illegals need to be deported out the F here. I agree, Gidiox. At least we agree on that, Gidiox. Deport all illegal aliens. Deport all illegal aliens. Send them home. Send them home. I listened to what Vaush said on the issue, L. I debated Vaush last week. I dominated. I won, if you didn't know. Right, Vike. Every Arab Muslim living in Gaza would be dead in a day. if Israel really wanted to commit a genocide.
Each year. Now, that's added onto New York's, but the thing is for sanctuary cities and states, they complain about the cost, but they continue to add services. I want to show you California. As of yesterday, California has added a health care benefit for migrants. They are now going to extend free health care to migrants between the ages of 26 and 49. That's going to cover 700,000 additional people and cost the state $2.6 billion each year. Now, that's added onto New York's, that's added onto California's deficit, which is already $68 billion.
Yeah, $68 billion deficit, and then they're going to give out quote unquote free, aka very, very expensive.
Answer this.
Losing a war is not ethnic cleansing. I love that, Num. I love that point about, hey, no, look, Palestine is just losing. The Arab Muslims who live in Gaza, they're just the Gazans. They're not really Palestinians because Palestine is not a country. It never has been. There's no Palestinian culture. There's no Palestinian language. There's no Palestinian leaders. There's no Palestinian history. They're Arab Muslims living in Gaza. They're Gazans.
By the same person. Ethnic cleansing of Palestine started 50 years before Hamas was created. It was entirely premeditated and the only possible way to build a Jewish homeland on a land that was 90% non-Jewish. That's just not true.
By the way, true, guess.
It's just not true. In the 1930s, there was no ethnic, so 50 years before Hamas was created in the 80s, the 1930s, there was no ethnic cleansing going on. Indeed, if you look at migration patterns in the late 19th century all the way into the 1940s, vast numbers of Arabs migrated.
You're right, Alistair.
What is now Israel. They were new immigrants, just like the Jews who were coming in were new immigrants. Nobody was being kicked out of Israel before the state of Israel was established, because quite the opposite.
I saw that. I got those, yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who today call themselves Palestinians were actually completely new immigrants who came from Jordan and Syria and Lebanon and Egypt and other places around the area to what was called then Palestine. And why did they come?
Oh, nice.
Why did they come?
Those are good colors.
Why suddenly was there massive in-migration into this area? And the Arabs don't want to hear this, but the reality is
new shirts
that the Jews who created massive economic opportunities. They were building cities. They were creating farming on a scale that had never existed. They were using land that had been swamp and desert that nobody knew how to use. They were literally drying swamps. They were building industry. This even Israelis don't know this because the socialists don't want you to know it, but there was private industry.
Disproportional force. What's wrong with disproportional force, El? Do you think the nuclear bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were proportional? Do you think burning Tokyo to the ground and firebombing raids in the 40s was disproportional? Do you think the shock and awe campaign of the American military in Iraq in 2003 was disproportional? Do you think dropping the Moab like Trump did in Afghanistan is disproportional? Like, what's your deal? Again, why are you singling out the Jews for and that's the only people you attack for being disproportional? Oh, so you think all war is disproportional pretty much then? You think everybody that's engaged in war is engaged in genocide and a war crime? That's a meaningless position then.
The electrification of Palestine happened because of Jewish enterprise.
Right, TLS.
Jews were building
Rolo, what's up?
What was called then Palestine. And why did they come? Why did they come? Why suddenly was there massive in-migration into this area?
Holy cow, Rolo Tomasi, that's crazy, man.
And the Arabs don't want to hear this, but the reality is that the Jews who created massive economic opportunities. They were building cities. They were creating farming on a scale that had never existed. They were using land that had been swamp and desert that nobody knew how to use. They were literally drying swamps. They were building industry. This even Israelis don't know this because the socialists don't want you to know it, but there was private industry. The electrification of Palestine happened because of Jewish enterprise. So Jews were building industry, farming, cities, creating jobs. And
yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, honestly, like you can, like, here's what the leftists do, right? They'll try to talk about the history of the situation to try to say, oh yeah, kill all the Jews, get the Jews out of there. Jews are bad. They'll try to use the history of the situation. And then when you call them out on that and say, actually, no, actually, you're wrong. Actually, the Jews have been there for 3,500 years. Actually, there was no displacement. Israel never stole any Palestinian land. Actually, Israel has been the victim in all of these wars. Israel gets attacked by the Arabs, and then Israel wins the war, and then the Arabs cry about it. And you guys are just and then they'll switch to modern day. It's disproportionate force use. It's disproportionate force use. It's like I don't care what kind of disproportionate force they used after October 7th. They absolutely are fully entitled to use whatever force necessary. And they actually have an obligation. I think the Israeli government, the Israeli military actually has a moral obligation to do whatever is necessary to wipe out Hamas and make sure that the genocide and the murder and the rape and the child torture and the rape torture and all the disgusting evil stuff that Hamas did on October 7th, that apparently the many Gazans support, to make sure that never happens again. So, Israel is using big bombs on the terrorists. This is disproportionate. Who cares? I support disproportionate use of force against terrorists. Look at what they did on October 7th. They deserve to be wiped out. 100% wiped out. Period.
Arabs in Syria and Jordan were looking at themselves and going, yeah, I mean, I can earn a lot more by going over there. There's a lot more job opportunities over there than there are over here. And they did. And they were the manual labor that built much of Israel in terms of the actual construction, right? They built the homes, the buildings, and they worked in the industries.
That's hilarious. So literally Arab Muslims were the one that literally built Israel. The Jews paid a bunch of Arab Muslims to literally build Israel for them.
So the exact opposite of ethnic cleansing happened before 1948. Post 1948, and during 1948, I've already answered, there was no ethnic cleansing. 1948 saw them run away. You run away, you lose, tough. I don't see any moral responsibility of the people defending themselves to respect your so-called rights to come back, particularly when you continue to hold a world view, a view that wants to eliminate the very state that you demand a return to. There was no premeditated, there was no plan. The Arabs left without Israel asking them to leave. Most of the asking to leave was done by the Arabs. Now, again, were there cases? And should the Arabs be compensated where you could show proof of it? Okay. Fine. But those are the exception, not the rule. The rule was that it wasn't ethnic cleansing. The rule was that it was people losing in a war and running away. Or running away in anticipation that they would win and be able to come back. Either way, Israel owes them nothing.
Yes. Yaron Brook. I got to follow this guy. I'll give this guy a follow on X. Yaron Brook. I like this guy. Follow. Yeah, that's solid. That's solid.
Very, 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 very solid. Very, very solid statement by our boy Yaron Brook. Yeah, it's always so wonderful. It's always so wonderful to hear the truth about the history of Israel and the history of the Jews and what's gone on. Really, the Jewish people and the state of Israel have really gone above and beyond to try to accommodate the radical Muslim, Arab Muslim extremists there, and to try to have peace. And I place the vast majority of the blame on continued violence in the Middle East on the evil side of this war. I'm not saying Israel's perfect. I don't think Israel's perfect. I don't think any country's perfect. I'm not saying Israel and the Jews have never made mistakes. Everybody's make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But the vast, vast majority of the responsibility for when you have a war going on between good and evil, pretty safe bet to say, hey, yeah, most of the time, you can pretty well safely say that it's the evil side that's responsible for the ongoing violence.
The concern is that people are coming in faster than we've normally seen. It's yet to be seen how much that will cost. What I can tell you is that the crisis up to this point has cost $3 billion. And as more people come, the cost continues to go up. The issue for New York is that they're not only dealing with newly arrived migrants, they're dealing with folks that have already been in New York City housing and are now being reticketed. So all of these folks already had free housing here in New York, and then they were given eviction notices, essentially 30 or 60-day notices telling them that they have to leave their shelter. But because this is a sanctuary city, housing is guaranteed. So if they wait in line, they can reapply and then be rehoused. And what you're seeing is this line which wraps around the corner, and it has been this long all day long. But
crazy.
the concern is that people are coming in faster than we've normally seen. It's yet to be seen how much that will cost. What I can tell you is that the crisis up to this point has cost $3 billion. And as more people come, the cost continues to go up. The issue for New York is that they're not only dealing with newly arrived migrants, they're dealing with folks that have already been in New York City housing and are now being reticketed. So all of these folks already had free housing here in New York, and then they were given eviction notices, essentially 30 or 60-day notices telling them that they have to leave their shelter. But because this is a sanctuary city, housing is guaranteed. So if they wait in line, they can reapply and then be rehoused. And what you're seeing is this line which wraps around the corner, and it has been this long all day long. But
are you kidding me? Housing is guaranteed in New York City as a sanctuary city. That's insane. Send every illegal alien to New York City then. I don't think you've been paying attention to what Hamas has been doing their entire history. Right. In NYC, they built tents for illegals to move into after they've been living in five-star hotels. The illegals refused to move into the tents. Honestly, this is staggering. I can't even comprehend how absurd this is. This is honestly real life. This is real life happening. We have Democrats running major cities who are saying that they're guaranteeing housing for any illegal alien that comes to their city. That is the most preposterous, outlandish, absurd thing I've ever heard. How is this reality? Look at this. Here's another ABC News story 2 hours ago. Cities scramble to accommodate migrant busloads. Dude, this is insane. Even the mainstream media is reporting on it. That's how you know this is so bad. These types of stories, like this story I'm about to click on, this used to only be reported in the conservative media. You're actually now seeing this in mainstream media. This is shocking. ABC News?
We don't have a plan for entry of these asylum seekers across the country. And that's really what we want the federal government to do, because we know there is a way to solve this.
No, yeah, there is a way to solve it, not what you're proposing.
The number of southern border crossings continues to soar. Mayors across the country are scrambling to accommodate the busloads of migrants being sent north to cities like New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Denver. Now, you just heard Denver's mayor there in an interview on ABC News Live. New York's Mayor Adams is also issuing an executive order.
Oh, Jonathan Huber, what's up? Yeah, good idea. I'd like to get free housing, yeah.
That requires charter buses to provide the city at least 32 hours notice prior to their arrival. But officials in Texas and Louisiana appear to be skirting those rules and instead sending buses to New Jersey. Local officials saying that an estimated 10 buses from Texas and 1 from Louisiana dropped off about 400 migrants at New Jersey transit stations where they continued into the city by train. I want to bring back our panel here, Mike, Christina, Ramesh, and Rachel. So Ramesh,
good. Keep shipping them there. If I'm in Texas, I'm shipping every single illegal alien up to New York City where they're guaranteed free housing. If I'm Texas, I'm shipping every single illegal alien up to New York City where the Dems guarantee housing for all illegal aliens. Truly a dumb policy to do that. Obviously. This is so absurd what is happening. Even ABC, NBC forced to report on the crisis. Unbelievable, man.
Here with you, mayors in these Democratic-run cities are now struggling to deal with this influx of asylum seekers. They're being
exactly, Vike. How about we send them back to Mexico at the border? How about they step 1 foot inside of this country, they're immediately picked up and put back into Mexico. An illegal alien steps 1 foot in this country, they should immediately be arrested and placed back into Mexico. This isn't hard to fix. They take one step. They take one step across that border, pick them back up, and put them back on the other side of the border. How hard is this? Messiah TV, what's up? Audi Glaze, what's up? Yeah, just ship them in every state. Great idea. Keep doing it until every state is 51% Dem. Well, I'd rather New York City. Messiah, you're suggesting that you'd rather have illegal aliens in your state, in your red state versus shipping them to a blue state? Dude, I'd ship illegal aliens in my red state to blue states all day, every day. All day, every day. Get these illegal aliens out of my red state and send them to the blue states.
Very vocal about it. But in your opinion, is Texas Governor Greg Abbott's plan of busing these migrants to these cities working in terms of highlighting the problem?
Yeah, I think so, because ABC News is now covering it when they never have before.
I don't think there's any question, whether you think it was the right or wrong thing to do, it has changed the politics of this issue dramatically. It has put it on the national agenda in a new way and made it not just a border state, border city issue. It's something that has caused Democratic mayors to talk about the strains that illegal immigration creates. It has made them, sort of put money where their mouths are, because it was one thing to say you're a sanctuary city when you're not on the front line, but once you are, it turns out that there's a huge burden.
Yep.
And getting a lot of these liberal Democratic mayors even to complain about the issue, and in some cases to complain about the Biden administration. That's something that wouldn't have happened absent the kinds of moves that Governor Abbott and to a lesser extent Governor DeSantis have made.
Yep.
And Christina, I'd love for you to weigh in on what he just said there about how you are starting to see some of these Democratic mayors complain about how the Biden administration is handling this. I mean, how will that change his support in the election?
Look, ultimately, I think what most Americans agree and understand is that we need real solutions to the immigration issue in this country, that we can have an immigration system that attacks and addresses the root causes of migration, that we need to protect American-born and immigrant workers.
Oh, so you want to address the root causes of the immigration? Oh, so you want all of these Latin American countries and African countries and Asian countries to all adopt American style constitutions, convert to Christianity, start being a moral and religious society, implement the rule of law, implement private property rights and free market capitalism, implement free speech and gun rights. That's what you're proposing, Christina Cinzun Ramirez? Oh, it's not? Oh, weird.
But these political stunts, because that's really all they are political stunts.
I do too, Vike. I find it absolutely hilarious to watch these liberal mayors get out there and talk about how much of a horrific crisis these illegal aliens pouring into their city are. It's absolutely hysterical. I love to see it. I ship every illegal alien in my state to these blue cities and blue states. It's a wonderful thing to see. These people get what they voted for, I guess. If we got rid of drug problems and crimes in countries in Central America and South America, then the immigration crisis would dwindle. Wrong, Alastor. Wrong. They're not coming here because of drug problems and crimes. They're coming here because they want money.
To address the issue and solve the problem. And so I live in Texas. Governor Greg Abbott is my governor, and I can tell you all he has done for his entire time in office is play with the lives of refugees and immigrants, many of who are children.
Oh, give me a break, Christina Tsinsun Ramirez. That's what Joe Biden has done. Say that about Biden instead of Governor Abbott. How about?
Instead of actually...
This is just a Democrat hack apparatchik, clearly.
Using his position to call for true reform and overhaul to both honor our rights.
We don't need true reform and overhaul. We need Trump policies. Sick of Democrats calling for dumb policy solutions to the border crisis. This isn't hard. It's called Trump policies. Dems need to be honest and openly call for Trump immigration policies. Look at this. Denver is preparing to spend 10% of its general fund on migrants crises. $180 million. News comes the city prepares to move hundreds of homeless migrants into shelters tomorrow. Denver will pay 1 month rent for migrants who are working and 3 months for those who aren't.
The corner of Spear and Zuna is no place for a family.
Yo tengo mi nieta de 7 años, dormimos en las carpas. Y es triste porque no podemos dormir porque el frío.
Look at these people, don't even speak English. These illegal aliens don't even speak English.
Nos agobia demasiado.
Nairith made it to Denver after months of traveling from Venezuela. Her grandchildren are 6 months and 7 years old.
De Venezuela.
In between coughing, Camila tells us she's been sick all the time, and her family doesn't have the money to buy her the medicine she needs.
Tiene mucha tos, se le presenta fiebre.
Tonight might be the last night the family of 10 spends living in the cold. Tomorrow morning, Denver police will come through and clear the camp. The city has made space for 320 of the migrants living here to move into shelters. They'll be allowed to stay there for 30 days, with the hope of moving into permanent housing after.
No es nada concreto, porque no sabemos a qué parte nos van a llevar, pues. Pero un techo que nos dé es una bendición.
Out here, it's clear Denver has a problem.
This challenge is far larger than we've ever seen it before, and the scale can feel overwhelming.
Inside City Council, the mayor is sounding an alarm on how much this crisis will cost.
Our budget right now for 2024 at this capacity would be about $180 million for 2024. You can do the math in your head, but that's about 10 to 15% of the entire general fund budget for 2024.
Democratic Mayor Mike Johnston put around $50 million towards solving homelessness last year. The migrant crisis could cost more than 3 times that amount this year.
That would be a very, very painful conversation about budget options if we had to figure that out.
Tengo demasiado miedo porque no sé qué va a pasar con mi nieta.
In a battle between...
I mean, this actually, it actually is sad. It actually is very sad to see people so desperate to flee socialism / communism / leftism of Venezuela. But the solution isn't to destroy American law in the country. The solution is to get rid of socialism in Latin America. Dems won't say that, though. These people are literally fleeing socialism. These people are literally fleeing leftism policies.
Fine. The future is not clear.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
international law.
Look at, here's another one. It's literally YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video of mainstream media covering the story today. Here's one from Fox 5 New York. We're out of room inside NYC's migrant crisis.
And give asylum seekers
We'll got to check that out too. Holy cow.
And be able to provide the security and support that local communities need. And that's why you're also seeing local communities, even in Texas, turn away from the governor's positions and stances that used to support him on immigration along the border.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
And what about Congress, Rachel? Let's take that to you. I mean, some people are looking at Congress to fix this. They believe that they can. Are they?
It doesn't need to be fixed by Congress. Trump fixed it. It's called Trump immigration policies. Adopt the Trump policies and you fix this. The only reason this is happening is because Biden and the Democrats are allowing the illegal aliens in. They're lying to them and promising them a citizenship and jobs and free housing and free this and free that and free this and free that. It's absurd. These Democrats and these Democrat left-wing policies are the reason that we're seeing this crisis. That's the reason the drug cartels are using and abusing girls and women on the border. That's the reason this is happening. Is Democrat policies, left-wing policies have encouraged this, have created the opportunity for this, and now are encouraging it. And now they're saying, oh, we need comprehensive, we need to give them all citizenship. Yeah. Give them free health care. Yeah. Give them free housing. Yeah. Which are all things that make the situation worse. And that's not a good thing for the migrants. The migrants are getting used and abused by the cartels, and they're being put into slavery because they don't have the money to pay the cartels. So then they sell off their little girl daughter into sex slavery to pay the cartels off. This is nasty, disgusting, horrific, evil stuff happening. The Democrats and the left is 100% responsible for this. How do these people sleep at night or look at themselves in the mirror?
Any closer to a bipartisan bill?
Ooh, yeah, Kana, they've been trying to do that for several decades now, and they're trying to do it right now as we speak. Still no cigar on that. I mean, look, I'm really skeptical about a border deal going through for a number of reasons. Number one is the clock. When Congress comes back next week, they're only going to have a couple of legislative days to avert another government shutdown. They don't have an agreement on top-line spending numbers, let alone line items within each agency. That's going to take up a lot of oxygen. Number two, even if the Senate does come up with some sort of bipartisan agreement, there is no guarantee that it will make it through the Republican-led House. The new Speaker, Mike Johnson, he's already in trouble with conservatives right now, and a lot of conservatives are probably not going to like whatever.
And we don't need anything in Congress. Yeah, it'd be nice if we got Congress to change our asylum laws so that these scam artist fraudsters, illegal aliens can't file so many fraudulent asylum claims. It'd be nice. It'd be nice, but they don't. We don't have to do that. We just need a president that will enforce Trump's policies. Twitch leftists don't exist outside of the internet. They get laughed out of rooms in real life. Right, Mike, right.
They come up with it in the Senate, they're going to say it's not good enough.
Why is that? Why did it all of a sudden go to
So he will face pressure from his own party to say that this deal, you know, he's not going to put it on the floor because, again, it's not good enough. It's a really tough issue for Congress.
And Mike, let's talk about this. In addition to the highest ever recorded migrant encounters at the border, according to Customs and Border Protection, seizures of fentanyl have also increased more than 860% compared to 2019. So, Mike, is the federal government putting enough emphasis on border security in addition?
Why should I be right-wing, lecture fan? What's the appeal? The appeal is happiness, joy, a sense of humor, laughter, knowing the truth, pursuing the truth, telling the truth. There's lots of benefits. Yeah, common sense, being able to sleep at night, being able to look yourself in the mirror, having self-respect, having a little dignity. I mean, I could go on.
Things.
I don't think we're giving enough nuance to the conversation of fentanyl, and the aspect of it is just not a one.
All right, whatever, dude, whatever. All right, here's another mainstream media expose on the migrant crisis.
Nearly 8 months since Midtown's Roosevelt Hotel, which had closed in 2020, was reopened by the city as an asylum seeker arrival center. Since then, thousands of migrants have passed through the doors.
Oh, you could, Al. It's just extremely, extremely rare and extremely uncommon among leftists to have any of those things.
Recently, I got a chance to go inside the facility, a very rare chance. And then I sat down with Mayor Adams and other officials about how the city is grappling with this unprecedented crisis.
Welcome to the New York City Arrival Center. All asylum seekers coming into New York City each day will come through that same doorway there.
And how many people have you processed so far since it began in 2021?
At the New York City Arrival Center here, we've registered more than 70,000 asylum seekers since we opened this site in May of this past year.
It doesn't seem that busy.
Wow. So it's literally like, boom, Joe Biden becomes president. Boom. We've got a migrant crisis. We got an illegal alien crisis. Illegal aliens pouring across our borders. Just like that. Just like that. As soon as Joe Biden became president, boom, open borders. Illegal aliens pouring in. This is unreal.
Today. Is this what it normally looks like, or do you usually have a lot more people sitting in that waiting room?
Yeah, the arrival center gets busier as the day goes on.
The Roosevelt Hotel has become a symbol, and depending on who you talk to, it's debatable whether it's a hopeful symbol. Outside, mopeds and motorcycles line the sidewalk, the unspoken side hustle of working food deliveries while awaiting shelter. Dr. Ted Long is helping with the processing of migrants, and he gave me a rare tour inside the hotel. So how often, when you give these migrants a choice to go to somewhere else, do they take you up on that offer?
1 out of every 4 that enters that front door will leave within 24 hours because with our help, we've enabled them to complete their journey, whether that's finding and staying with friends and family in New York City or finding and staying with friends and family in another city across the country. Will help them to get there. So this is our cafeteria.
Why are you helping illegal aliens travel to where they want to go? You're a sanctuary city. Let them stay there, or ship them to another blue sanctuary city. Let them stay there. Why are you just saying, hey, where do you want to go? Oh, we'll get you there. I want to get a free trip. Can I go to New York City and get a free trip? A free trip somewhere, wherever I want to go?
We had this initial issue of how do we create a meal that would be what somebody would want if you're coming from Venezuela, Senegal, or the Ukraine?
That's what we've heard. Sometimes they don't like the food that you're serving because they're not accustomed to it.
Exactly. So we did a survey of everybody. Everybody disliked the same meal, and the most popular meal.
Which was that? What's the least
what would
liked?
You think?
The least liked and the most liked.
The least liked was roast beef. Nobody likes roast beef. And the most liked genre of food?
Pizza.
Italian food. Very good.
That's perfect. We win. Manuel Castro, the commissioner.
Who the heck do these illegal aliens think they are? Complaining about roast beef? You're coming from socialist hellholes where you're eating humans to survive. You're going to complain about roast beef? Only AMR bill. Only AMR bill. What's up, only?
Of the city's immigrant affairs is trying to acclimate the migrants, but at the same time, he's frustrated too. Do you see it getting any quieter?
Yeah, that's insane, Vike. They're complaining about tents and complaining about roast beef. Who the heck do these illegals think they are? If only they'd been given gravy. Yeah, maybe the roast beef was dry. They didn't get enough gravy with it. Unbelievable. Roast beef with mayo and lettuce tastes good in my... I love roast beef, Jidiox. I freaking love roast beef. Roast beef is one of the... Do you realize that around the world, in Africa, they don't even really eat beef in Africa because it's too expensive to kill a cow to eat it. I mean, this is unbelievable entitlement. These people are leftist Democrats to the core already. They've only been here 2 seconds.
Are people dissipating? Are they still coming to our city?
Look, we've said this time and time again, this is not sustainable. We had to do this because it's an emergency. I mean, a lot of people are coming in that have no idea what's going on. They were just giving a bus ticket to come here or a plane ticket to come here, and then they don't know where else to go.
You talk about that you came here as a young child, your family migrated here. What was the difference from your family's migration to how these families are being treated right now?
When I came here with my family, we didn't get much support.
You got probably nothing.
We got nothing. We came here to stay with an aunt that was already living in New York, and we struggled through those many years at the beginning to find work, find housing, etc. I mean, it's hard to settle here as an immigrant, but once you get over those initial challenges, it's beautiful. It's great to be in the city, and this is why so many people keep coming.
And poll after poll finds New Yorkers angry at the federal government and their lack of help in fixing this crisis. Mayor Adams has gone to D.C. more than 10 times, pleading for help with what could be a $12 billion cost over the next 3 years. Right now, New York City is on its own, running out of money and out of room.
We're getting close to anywhere from 2,500 to peaking at 4,000 a week.
What happens when there's no more room? I mean, we're almost at capacity now, right?
No, we're there. We're there. We're not just saying we're out of room as a soundbite. We're out of room, literally. People are going to be eventually sleeping on the streets.
Okay, what would it take for you to close the front door?
I don't have the authorization to tell people they can't come into New York City.
Why not?
It's against the law. It's against the law.
But everybody keeps talking about sanctuary city, that we're not using it the way that it was originally intended.
And I agree. We cannot by law tell someone if they come into the city, you can't come into the city. We can't even turn them over to ICE.
I know, we see that. There are crimes that are going on in the city that are migrant related, and there's no talk about that at all. Why not? Why can't the NYPD notify ICE?
The law states that we cannot notify ICE. I cannot.
How stupid of a law that is. We'll change the law then. That is insane. So you've got illegal aliens. You've got illegal aliens committing crimes in New York City, and they can't even. You've got illegal aliens committing violent crimes in New York City, and the mayor can't turn the illegals over to ICE because of their sanctuary city law. And I'm supposed to feel bad for shipping all illegal aliens into NYC? They guarantee housing for all illegals. They're asking for it. This is what Democrats want. This is what New York City wants. This is what New York City wants. Thank you. I don't know if American Patriot is here. If you are American Patriot, thank you for liking 8 of my tweets. This is insane. This is insane. I can't even comprehend what's going on. It's so absurd.
Break the law and enforce the law.
So what I think I'm confused about is,
Yo, Crazy Noodles. What's up, Crazy Noodles? I love watching you lecture, but watching these types of videos gets me so fired up and angry that America's letting this happen, and we, the taxpayers, are funding it all, treating them in 5-star hotels while the American people get told we are bad for not supporting it. It's incomprehensible, Crazy Noodles. I can't even process it. It's so absurd that this is what's going on. It's so unfair. It's so wrong. It's so inappropriate. It's preposterous. It's outlandish. Words barely even describe how absurd this whole situation is. NYC is a leftist disaster city. True, Vike. I know a few leftists who have very quietly left NYC. By the way, Alistair finally hit the follow. Deesh Cool finally hit the follow. Thank you guys. Appreciate the new follows. Hey, if you guys are new here, please hit the follow. Also, join the Discord server. Link is in chat. We have fun on Discord. Also, follow me on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. I would say those are the 2 things you should do if you want to see more of me or support me. I could link my YouTube, but we'll just leave it at Discord and Twitter. Oh, and my email. If you guys haven't joined my email newsletter list, lecturefan.live, type it into chat. I'm not sending any emails out. That's just a email list I'm building in case I ever need to contact my supporters. So links are in chat for all you folks that haven't clicked all 3 of those links ever in your days. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, watching these videos, man. Or let me read Vike's message again. I know a few leftists who have very quietly left NYC in the last year, now living upstate, sadly voting for the same type of idiots who destroyed NYC. Right, Vike? I mean, this is what people want. This is what Democrats want. This is what NYC can have.
migrants have come to our city for years and years, decades. But they were not given a hotel room. They were not given food, clothing, cell phones, health insurance. Stop it. Why can't you stop it?
We have never witnessed this level of migration in this hemisphere. Europe was dealing with this. But with the destabilization of Venezuela, we've never witnessed before. 7.5 million people in this hemisphere. So we are being inundated. And we have now moved into another phase of saying all of those services that you're talking about, that we're down to food, shelter, clothing. That's it. Because this is a national problem. It's unfair for local municipalities and cities to handle this problem.
But the president says the border is secure. Is it?
Well, I don't know the definition of what they're using as secure. You know,
Would you say it was secure?
I think too many people are coming through various pathways and cavities in our border, and we have to be extremely careful because not everyone that's coming is pursuing the American dream.
Yeah, we've been hearing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like a lot of them that are coming are not pursuing the American dream. They're criminals. They're coming here illegally.
This is a larger investigation on immigration that I'm working on for Fox Nation. It will be on Fox Nation in the next few weeks.
What did you think when you walked into the Roosevelt Hotel? 'Cause, I mean, we've asked so many reporters, like, hey, can we get inside?
Right. It was very organized once you got inside.
Thank you, Medium K. Very, very well said, Medium K. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say, Medium K. Israel suffered a terrible tragedy on October 7th, and this is very clear-cut good versus evil situation. That's exactly what I was trying to say. And not only just limited to the October 7th and the aftermath of October 7th, but literally the entire history of the Holy Land since 1948. Again, there's right and there's wrong, and there's good and there's evil, and I'm going to take the side of good every time. But you're right, Medium K. I was making the point that Israel suffered a terrible tragedy on October 7th, and it's clear-cut good versus evil in the post-October 7th. Israel has every darn right, and in fact, they have the responsibility and the obligation to invade Gaza and kill every terrorist in that little enclave. They have an obligation and a duty to the citizens of Israel to wipe out Hamas, period. And and every person of goodwill, every human being ought to stand behind Israel 1,000% in that effort. We can never, ever, ever allow October 7th to happen again. Same with 9/11. These radical Islamic extremists have to be wiped out. They're violent terrorists. The extremists, the radicals, they're violent terrorists. They need to be wiped out, period.
And, you know, we were talking about it, how, like, when, you know, you have guests over, you clean up your house before the guests arrive. I didn't know whether they cleaned up the house.
Look at L. Look at L. Not one word, L. Not one word about Hamas and Hezbollah launching tens of thousands of rockets into Israel. Not one word about that, huh? Wow. Wow.
Before we got there.
That is some sick and evil stuff right there. You're staring evil. You're staring evil in the Twitch username right here. Holy cow. When you attack Israel for what's gone on the past couple of decades and you don't say one word about the Hamas rockets and the Hezbollah rockets and the radical Islamic terrorists that are trying to kill all the Jews with rockets day in and day out, boy, that's disingenuous.
Or whether, like, we hit a slow period when we walked inside. But it was very organized. And
you like that, Elle? You like that?
Let's face it, a lot of people keep coming there from every which way now.
And then you see the mayor trying to implement some rules on when the buses can come in.
Dude, YouTube is literally feeding me up video after video. YouTube is literally feeding me up video after video after video of Democrats and mainstream media freaking out about illegal aliens invading their Democrat cities. Pretty wild. Thank you, Fatormaphitis, for all the likes.
New York York City pays over $30,000 a day for meals that are supposed to feed asylum seekers living in this hotel, but instead those meals are winding up in the garbage. Why is that happening?
This is all food. This is fresh. This is good food.
Demand at a food pantry in the Bronx is greater than ever before. But city budget cuts have limited the amount of people the pantry is able to help.
More than 1,000 New Yorkers who help to keep our city parks clean are expected to...
Have you ever heard of Papers, Please? Yes, I have, Alistair. I think I even have Papers, Please. Let me see. I think I even have Papers, Please. Let me say, I've never played it. Papers, Please. Yeah, I have it. Papers, Please. I have the game. Whoa! Medium! Gifting a tier 1 sub to L! Thank you, Medium. That was nice of you, Medium. Wow, what a good-hearted person Medium is. I call L evil, and you're staring a Twitch username in the face of evil, or you're staring evil in the face of a Twitch username, or whatever I said. And then Medium drops a tier 1 sub gift to L 421. L, welcome to the Lecture Fan Sub Club. Yeah, I do have Papers, Please. I've never played it. Would you recommend it? Should I start the install? I'll install it. Maybe I'll play it sometime. I'll give it the install. Staring evil in the face. staring evil in the Twitch username.
Lose their jobs. This is one of many impacts of budget cuts announced last month.
This migrant crisis is far from over, and just last week, more than 3,800 migrants arrived here in the city.
So videos of prepared meals being thrown away, those are incredibly disturbing for several reasons. First, those meals were supposed to go to asylum seekers, many of whom have come to New York City by bus from the southern border, but for some reason they never made it. They went into the garbage.
Asylum seekers. If I hear them called asylum seekers one more time, I'm going to freak out. Those are fraudulent asylum claims. Those are bad faith, fraudulent, scam asylum claims. They are not asylum seekers. These are illegal aliens gaming the system to try to take advantage of a country they hate. They're not asylum seekers. Give me a break. Altair, what's up, Altair?
Garbage instead.
Happy New Year, Altair. Thanks for stopping in.
Perhaps the meals were inedible, or maybe the recipients just didn't want them, or maybe they were never distributed in the first place. We're going to figure that out, but there's another reason this is disturbing, and that's because you've got 1.2 million New Yorkers right now who are struggling to feed themselves and their families, and the food pantries that they rely on are running out of resources. Yet there's food.
Oh, 1.2 million New Yorkers who are struggling to feed themselves, and the Democrats are giving free food to illegal aliens and then throwing out in the trash the leftovers. What is wrong with these people?
In the trash at the exact same time, which also doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when the mayor is making massive cuts to the fire department, the police department, and school programs, and funding to charities that help feed hungry people living in New York. And the reason these cuts are happening is because the city is struggling financially under the weight of an asylum crisis and a mass epidemic of homelessness. There are over 100,000 people right now living in the city's shelter system, and it's at capacity.
And just last week, more than 3,800 migrants arrived here in the city. More than 150,000 migrants have passed through New York City's shelter system since last spring, with more than 67,000 migrants currently in the city's care.
That's an incredible amount of people, and most folks are arriving here at this bus terminal in Midtown. 3,800 people a week? That's almost 16,000 people a month coming to America seeking asylum. And not only are the folks arriving here in need of food, so are many New Yorkers, and that's why the idea of food being thrown away.
I'm sorry. When you have 8 million people seeking asylum, and the reason they're seeking asylum is because they want more money, they want a better job. Maybe those are fraudulent asylum claims. Asylum is for war. Not in there's no wars happening in Mexico, or are there? Oh, maybe the drug cartel is an actual war. There's no war happening in anywhere in South America, is there? These are fraudulent asylum claims. You don't get to flee your country and come to America and become an asylee and get a valid asylum claim just because your country sucks. Your country sucks is not a valid my country sucks. My country sucks is not a valid basis for asylum. Period. You don't get to become an asylum claimant just because your country sucks.
Pay is pretty crazy, especially when it's thousands of dollars a day. It doesn't make any sense until you start. Videos have come out from whistleblowers of thousands of dollars of food that looked perfectly good being thrown away at this very same building.
This is bags and bags of food being thrown away. This is all food that is going to waste. This is insane. This is fresh. This is good food.
This looks really bad for a whole bunch of reasons. But first, it's important to understand that the Row Hotel is a 1,300-room former luxury hotel, 44th Street, 8th Avenue, right by Times Square. It opened in 1928, which makes it 96 years old. But around 2020, it went bankrupt. And in 2022, the owners of the hotel signed a contract with the city to turn this building into an emergency shelter. But part of running the hotel as a shelter means feeding those inside. And although this part of Midtown is surrounded by places that can prepare food, they didn't use local businesses to prepare food for the people they need to feed. No, they got the food somewhere else. And although on the surface reports of wasted food make it seem like the people inside the hotel were ungrateful, for the free meals there's potentially something else going on here. According to the New York Times, the meals that were thrown away are from a medical services company called .go. And apparently this same contractor used to provide viral tests when those were in high demand here in New York, and now they've switched over to providing asylum seeker services of various kinds. Apparently their contract with the city is worth $432 million.
Wait, so this is a COVID-19 testing company that's now doing illegal alien services? Boy, these are the best grifters I've ever heard of in my life. What a grift. What an absolute grift. Did I just understand that correctly? This is literally the greatest grift of all time.
No, they got the food somewhere else. And although on the surface reports of wasted food make it seem like the people inside the hotel were ungrateful, for the free meals there's potentially something else going on here. According to the New York Times, the meals that were thrown away are from a medical services company.
New York Times, how New York wasted 5,000 meals in one day?
Called .go. And apparently this same contractor used to provide viral tests when those were in high demand here.
That is, oh my goodness. There's a company that did COVID-19 tests and made millions, and now the company makes millions making meals for illegal aliens that it sells to NYC. Greatest grift of all time. Who is the Democrat evil genius that started this company? What a fantastic grift. What an absolute grift. These are grifters if I've ever heard of a grifter in my life. Ooh, got a new follower. Tyler with the follow. Thank you for the follow. Ooh, nice. Lady Patriot with the quote retweet. Holy cow, man. This is crazy. I can't even understand how this is happening and American people are just sitting back. Ooh, this is kind of crazy. I'm ready to shut this country down. I'm ready to engage in civil disobedience over this until this comes to an end. Joe Biden and the Democrats are fully responsible for this. I used to help out the local food bank when I lived in Oregon. We had 40 people a month and Biden took over. Last time I heard, my grandmother that helps out at the food bank, they switched to 2 times a week. Passing of food is hitting between 100 and 140 in a single day. It's kind of sad seeing Americans struggling to afford food while the Democrats support the illegals and funding them. Right. Totally, Crazy Noodles. Totally. I'm glad that you guys are. I'm glad that you guys are laughing. Like sneaky honey snake bad boys. Glad you guys are enjoying this. Why can't both sides find a common enemy in the rich elite and take back what's ours? Because that's Marxism, and we're not class warfare Marxist communists. Welcome Man had to follow on Twitter as well. Thank you, Crazy Noodles. Appreciate the Twitter follow.
New York, and now they've switched.
Oh, if that was you. You just doxed yourself at Crazy Noodles.
Over to providing asylum seeker services of various kinds. Apparently, their contract with the city is worth $432 million, and there's some sort of investigation going on. And apparently, this was a no-bid contract, which essentially means that the company being asked to provide the services was the only company being considered. So whatever price they came up with, it's kind of like take it or leave it. And according to the New York Times, the company's being investigated for the potential mistreatment of asylum seekers in its care. And the video the whistleblower took at this facility is from 11 months ago, but this New York Times article, this is from about a week and a half ago. So the story is still taking place. It's an ongoing issue. And what's crazy is the amount of money, wasted food winding up in the trash is costing the city. The city's contract with DocGo has the meals pegged at 11.
I mean, I don't know, Sneaky. Civil disobedience, I don't even really know what civil disobedience is. Let's be honest. I don't even know what the hell civil disobedience is. What I'm talking about is basically bringing this country to a complete and total standstill and basically taking to the streets and shutting the country down, completely shut the country down, bring everything to a screeching halt until such time as the border is fixed and all of these illegitimate asylum claimants are sent back. I don't know. I mean, we're at the end of the line here. If anybody has a better idea, please tell me. What can we do? I'm at the end of the rope here. Like I guess we just sit back and just let our country get invaded. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to just sit back and do nothing while our country's invaded and our country's destroyed. But that's kind of what's happening, and it's kind of what. And you know, look, I'll get up and go to work tomorrow. I've always thought it like. I honestly wonder, like, if I started a movement like that, because I kind of want to. I kind of want to just do it. Like, just say, look, I'm taking to the streets on Friday, this Friday, I'm taking to the streets, and anybody that wants to join me, everybody can join me. Like, what? Like, would nothing happen and I'd be the only one out there? Or would we have a nationwide movement where the American people took to the streets and we stayed in the streets until, because that's how you change things, right? Historically with politics, protesting and taking to the streets is kind of like the last option, right? It's like you've tried everything else. You've tried to save your country. You've tried to fix things and it's just not happening. And so you have no other options. And now you take to the streets and you shut everything down. But I kind of feel like if I started that and if I did that and I said I'm going to do it and I supported it and I kind of feel like one of two things would happen. Either number one, nobody would do it and I'd be by myself and I'd be like, look like a weirdo. Or it would start like a national movement and we'd have millions and millions of people taking to the streets and shutting this country down.
$11 each. And from October 22nd to November 10th, over 70,000 meals provided by this company were thrown away, which means that $776,000 worth of resources that could have helped somebody, anybody, even just one person here in New York, helped nobody and ended up in one of these things. And since the amount of wasted food is almost $40,000 a day, after 30 days, you're looking at over $1 million in wasted meals.
Asylum seekers are sharing their side of the story, explaining why they're not eating the food.
Residents here point to pasta covered in grease and meatballs still frozen in the middle. They're pushing back today after shelter staff told the New York Post they were wasting tax dollars.
Okay.
These entitled jerks. Who do they think they are complaining about free food when they're illegal aliens, abusing the asylum, filing fraudulent asylum claims? And then they're going to complain about free food? These people are entitled, ungrateful, illegal aliens. This is unbelievable. How are you going to complain about free food when you're an illegal alien abusing you literally abused and are filing fraudulent legal claims in a country that you just illegally, and now you're going to complain about free food? Wow. Can't even process it.
For $11 each, I think people could expect better quality than what appeared in that video. And if that's what they're serving people, no wonder folks are complaining. Maybe the quality's just inconsistent. The whistleblowers videos shows perfectly good meals in the trash. These videos show low quality, partially defrosted, airplane-style TV dinners that I don't think anybody wants to eat. But it's also recently come to light that not every meal the city pays for gets eaten. And that's because the city is estimating how many meals they need and buying them ahead of time. And that's why some of what doesn't get eaten ends up in the trash either way. But the people who are being served the food, they're the ones saying that it's the quality. It's not the fact that it was available or not.
This mom of two says sometimes the food smells bad, rotten, and every time the children eat the food like that, they get food poisoning.
Now, what I'm not too sure about is why people would say the food is terrible and claim that it's making them sick if it's not. What could possibly be the end game to that? But if you've ever eaten somewhere and gotten food poisoning, your desire to go back to that place is not at all on the table. You're probably not going back. You don't want to take any chances. That's not where I ate. I actually ate at Chipotle. I haven't been back since. And if people were going from this hotel's cafeteria straight to the hospital, it's no surprise that folks are being a little extra careful. And the New York Times also reports this company lowered their meal prices to around $7 from $11. How they were able to make those price reductions isn't mentioned, but some critics say that because the company's trying to save money and so is the city, this could be part of the issue. And what's crazy is you can get meals right now for $11 each from a company like Factor, and these are like TV dinners. I'd be willing to bet that these all get eaten and not thrown away. Either way, some food waste is bound to happen because everybody here is getting pretty much the same thing, or at least the options they are getting are somewhat limited. But what's crazy is...
Holy cow, man. I can't. It's just the insanity. The insanity is too much. All right, guys, 2.5 hour stream. I'm going to raid somebody if you guys want to raid with me. There's my Discord again. There's my YouTube again. There's my email list again. There is my Twitter link again. If you guys are new here, hit the follow. Raid with me here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the new stream back. Look at that, 36 viewers. I went from streaming video games and getting like 5 to 10 viewers to I do my first stream back, I do a real stream, and boom. Boom. Oh, I'll raid BX.
What you think about what? Oh, how old you are? Well, you should just go watch the movie SLC Punk, Paco.